Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today we're jumping into some tales from the front desk. Our first story today comes to us from a deleted account. Prospective hotel guests, the correct answer is, I'm looking for a room, arriving on this date and leaving on that date. Let's jump right in. Thank you for calling generic hotel name. How can I help you? Yes, we've been coming to your town for years now. Oh, what is it, 12 years? No, probably longer than that. Gosh, has it been 20 years? No mind. Anyway, oh wait, it's been 16 years. 16 years since we first came to your town, my husband and I. Well, he passed away in 2015, but we used to try to come every year or two. I've come down a few times since his passing. Sometimes I'll have my daughter, but she's in Europe right now. When we first took her, she was my baby, but now she's in Europe with her friend. She'll always be my baby though, even when she has her own babies, if she wants them. She's not sure right now. I told her to take her time, but not too much time. Anyway, my husband and I would go to the restaurant there around the corner from you, and they had the best applesauce, and now they're closed, so I guess I'll have to figure out a new favorite spot. You know, we used to work with last front desk manager, but they left a few years ago. Oh, but it doesn't matter. You all have always been so helpful when we needed anything. It's harder and harder for businesses to retain staff these days, isn't it? But that's the world we're in. Things are just changing so fast, it's hard to keep up. I'm just glad you guys are still in business there. It's hard these days, isn't it? Even for places that people love. And then with COVID and inflation, I don't know how some places keep going on, and it's going to be difficult to replace some of the businesses that have had to close down. Sometimes it's not even the business, but staffing, huh? It seems like with all the job openings out there, there wouldn't be so many staff shortages, but that's just how things go sometimes. We like to go in spring to see all the flowers blooming. Summer is just too hot for us there, so we always figured why go if we would be trapped inside due to the heat, you know? I guess winter is pretty nice there, fall too, but usually we would go in the spring. Sometimes it rained on us there, but we never minded getting a little wet if we forgot our umbrellas. Anyway, I'll be coming there by myself this year, and I'm hoping to take a day trip to the famous landmark nearby. I've been there once before, but it was one of our first trips there. Oh, what was that, 2000? No, that's too early. It must have been later on in maybe 2009 or 10. Haha, that was the year that event happened in town, and you know, it is so funny. But we went to that, and it was supposed to be X and Y, but we just had to chuckle because it seemed like Z. I heard they haven't done that event due to COVID. It's just so sad. Well, like I said, it's just me coming up this year. I don't think my daughter's going to fly back from Europe for this trip. So I just need one bed and was thinking maybe one of the smaller rooms would be fine for me. My husband and I would always get a little bit larger room. He was 6'3", so the smaller rooms were a bit too tight for us. Of course, if my daughter came, we would need 2 beds, but maybe next year I can talk her into it. We'll see. I don't need the 2 beds this year. I'm used to sleeping in a king-size bed, but a queen would be okay if it were the right kind of room for me. I just need a little bit of room to walk around and a chair. I wouldn't want to take a larger room away from a family that may need it, because I know how difficult it can be traveling with kids. We would sometimes have issues when Susan, our daughter, was growing up, and that was just one kid and the 2 of us. I can't imagine how parents with 3 or 4 kids make it work, especially these days. It has to be so stressful and just difficult to manage, and it's hard to only travel when the kids are in school, isn't it? So again, it's just me coming this year, and I'd like to see what you have for me this year. Loosening the noose I was putting around my neck. When were you wanting to arrive? Tomorrow. We're sold out tonight. Oh, I was looking for tomorrow. Yeah, but we started this conversation yesterday. Some people honestly just need somebody to talk to. If you think about it, this person's lost their husband, so they don't have that person that they can banter back and forth with on a regular basis. So when they get somebody they can talk to, they just talk and talk and talk and talk. Anybody who's worked in hospitality, retail, call center, we all know these kinds of people. It just kinda comes with the job. The best way to deal with it though, I don't think is the way that OP dealt with it. They made a joke out of it, and they don't know that person at all. You just need to find a spot to interject, say, I'm sorry, we're incredibly busy today. Would you like to book a room? I've got to say, I do kind of feel sorry for the lady though, because, you know, they don't have somebody to talk to on a regular basis. Do me a quick favor and take a look down below the video. If that subscribe button's still red, it means you're actually not subscribed to the KCC channel. Please hit that subscribe button for more daily Reddit stories. This next story comes to us from Squirrel Tale, in which the author performs magic. Let's jump right in. I have often said that the average front deskie will move mountains for nice guests, but it is another thing to do so and have them believe that you have actually done the impossible. Tonight, gentle readers, we shall speak of magic, not the mystical arts with fireballs and glowing runes and so forth, nor the everyday magic found in rainbows and the laughter of children. No, we shall talk about real magic, as performed by masters of the mysteries of the front desk. My lovely assistant Buttercup is over by the coffee station, sparkling majestically. I think she would like it to be known that she's the original magical being around here, and has the power to make alfalfa-based pastries vanish almost instantly. In any case, our story began this morning, when a member of the audience, guest, came up to the front desk in that magical time between my setting up breakfast and my going home. "I've made a huge mistake," she says. "A guest admitting error? Clearly we are already in a wondrous land of magical fantasy. I needed to extend my stay, but it was through Cooking Bomb, so I had to make a new reservation, but I made it for the wrong date." A guest who also knows the rules regarding the changing of dates on prepaid reservations? Egads, witchcraft! After showing her that both my hands were empty, I looked to see what had transpired. Sure enough, she had, by means arcane and mysterious, managed the opposite of the usual issue with OTAs, and managed to make her new continuing reservation for the previous night rather than tonight. Now, this was partly my fault. I failed to notice that one of my no-show guests had the same name as an in-house guest. Had I done so, the extra reservation would have been deleted as an accidental duplicate. It happens sometimes, and we're not big enough jerks to hold people to them. This left us with a conundrum. In one box, we have a guest checked into a room. In this other box, we have a no-show reservation, already processed and charged. These are both OTA reservations, and the dates on them can't be changed, a fact the guest is aware of. She is upset because she knows her money has vanished, and while she's reluctantly willing to pay for a third reservation, she's wanting to know if there's any way to fix it. Fear not, for your humble narrator is wise in the arts of the front desk, and immediately set to work. Of course, the best magic is also the simplest. With a mighty abracadabra, I produced a new, clean reservation from thin air. I then set the rate to 0 as she'd already paid the previous night. Then, with a quick shuffling of the cups, I check her out of her existing reservation and into the new 0 rate reservation, pausing only to reassure the computer that yes, I want to check someone into a dirty room. She has her room, we have our money, all parties are settled to satisfaction. With a flourish and a smile, I hand her the new keys for her room. She gasped and asked with all seriousness, "Are you a wizard?" I just gave her a wink and typed up a note to my manager explaining what I'd done to fix the situation. So there we have it, a tale of magic and mystery, wherein via smoke and mirrors, the impossible is made possible, and OTA reservations that cannot be changed are bent into pretzels before your very eyes. For my next trick, I will pull a hat out of a unicorn. Seriously, stop chewing on that, you'll ruin the sequins. I said let go! Well, you see people, this is what happens when you don't go full Karen on somebody working at a hotel. Be humble, admit that you made a mistake, and you may be surprised the lengths that people will go to make sure you have a good experience. This next story comes to us from Polderan. I don't understand people sometimes. Let's jump right in. You ever look at someone and wonder what's going on inside their head? Because it's been that kind of Friday. At least it hasn't been a Karen Friday, so thank God for small miracles. Humanity, specifically the subspecies Homo sapiens customarensis. We joke that they forget to pack their brains when they leave the house, and tonight I bring tales of such cases. What follows are several fairly short conversations I've had tonight. 1. You'd better go catch it. Our refrigerator has gone down, compressor keeps overheating or something, it's tripping the circuit breaker, all the lights are out. Guest approaches our little store. Is this open? Yes, but our fridge has gone out on us, so the drinks may not be cold. Guest proceeds to make their selection and comes to the desk. These waters are warm, don't you have any cold ones? Sorry, nope, our fridge is out of order, so they're not cold. Can you check in the back? Internally, so it's gonna be one of those kinds of nights? Okay, sure, let me take these with me while I check. I step into the back, I count to 12 Mississippis, then I return, and I cannot stress this enough with the same drinks. These aren't fully cold, but I think they feel a little cooler. How's that? Guest takes the drinks. Yes, that's much better. 2. A loving family. Man walks in the door. Do you have any rooms available? I have 2 rooms with 2 queen beds. How many people will that sleep? 2 queens? Usually 2 to a bed. So, 4? Well, we're 5. Do you think we'll fit? Look, bro, I don't know how much you people like each other. I really can't say. They ended up taking the room. I guess his 3 teenage daughters are sharing a bed, or one sleeping on the floor. 3. Did I effing stutter? Guy I've checked in stops by the desk after making sure he didn't leave anything important in the car. What time is breakfast? The restaurant will be open from 7 to 10. What does that mean? That the restaurant will be open from 7 to 10. 4. And there's the Karenish one as I was typing this up. Guest comes in to check in. Notice note on his reservation that he'd sent an online message making sure we knew his room had to be feather-free due to allergies, and that the room was prepared for him. I need something on the first floor. I'm sorry, but per your preferences on your membership, we'd prepared your required feather-free room on the top floor. I'd really rather have a first floor so I don't have to walk as far. I do have something, but it's not going to be prepared as feather-free. If you'd like me to set that up, it'll probably take 15-ish minutes to remove all the pillows and comforters and replace them. And with your allergies, I'm not sure if having been in contact with those for the full day would mean I'd need to replace the sheets. No, it's fine. I'm not actually allergic, I just don't like feathers, but I'm too tired to wait, so you don't have to remove them, just put me on the first floor. Internally, why do we even bother? They're all lying. If we stop believing them across the entire company, I'm sure no more than 3 people would actually die nationwide. We can cover that up, it'd be so easy. Make it look like they got mugged by a giant chicken in the alley. That's why they show signs of allergies, because of the chicken. No, better yet, it was just a normal goose. Those bastards are mean. I can do that. But on the plus side, there's a company that's making a drone armed with a taser. You think that if I put up a crowdfund, I'd get enough to buy me one of those? With a custom sound system so it can play Ride of the Valkyries as I chase people down with it? Now, down in the comment section, OP added an extra one on. It says, bonus conversation that just happened. I'm holding a clear plastic cup filled with ice water in my hand. I'm trying not to drink 3 times Monsters or 2 times Monsters and a soda at work anymore. I take a sip as a guest walks up. Question about water. Sure. Is the water here safe to drink, like from the tap? I take a look at my cup. I really hope so, or I'm about to have a bad day. Now, someone else down in the comments said that OP should rig the drone to play Fortunate Son, but OP commented back and said, that's what I have the Claymore Roomba set to. Now, I have to say that I haven't ever worked at a hotel, even though I've had many jobs, as you all know, but this subreddit has some of the absolute best stories and some of the best writing as well. OP, I really enjoyed your writing. This next story comes to us from Toad the Bidet. Too nice housekeeper got promoted and doesn't do the job properly or even try. Let's jump right in. We had an excellent head housekeeper who left about 3 months ago named Mrs. June, who was pleasant and did her job as good as the job can be done. We've had several replacements, but none of them lasted very long. A few weeks ago, they promoted a good housekeeper to the job, but he isn't up to the task. I call him a goblin or a gnome, fairy, troll, because he's very short and ill-proportioned. Mean, yes, but he has lately been getting on my nerves. Part of the job of the home housekeeper is to wash laundry and to inspect cleaned rooms and sign off on them so we at the front desk can update our available rooms. Mr. Gnome, however, seems to think he's still a regular housekeeper because he will hang out in trainees' rooms helping them with beds or whatever when he's just chatting away, slowing everyone down. After Mrs. June left, we hired Mr. Gnome, and we were short-staffed and the front desk would help out with laundry so that the housekeepers didn't fall behind on supplies. I think he got used to that and thinks it's our job to do that when it's not. It's the head housekeeper's job to do all that. If we're busy at the desk, we can't go back and forth to keep up with laundry. I told him a few times, even before he was the head housekeeper, that if they see a load is done, they can always toss the linens in the dryer. They don't need us to do that exclusively. I was being positive about it and not trying to criticize, but that didn't seem to help. About 2 weeks ago, I was super annoyed because when I got on at 3, Mr. Gnome came in and started chatting up the boss, laughing away, not doing his job as head housekeeper. I asked him how the laundry was going as we had several trainees in housekeeping that day. He was not assigned to train them. We had other experienced housekeepers do that. He said, "Oh yeah, I'm doing laundry, I'm head housekeeper today," smile. So I figured that was what he was doing. We were busy at the front, and about an hour into my shift, the housekeepers started radioing me for pillowcases, towels, etc., as we do have a stash at the front. I radioed back to tell them to go to the laundry room, where supposedly the gnome was doing laundry. He wasn't. There was nothing in the washers, and nothing drying, and there were several large bins of linens ready to be washed just sitting there. I found the gnome upstairs chatting up one of the trainees, well, helping him with his rooms, which was not what he was assigned to do. I've been letting management know that he's not doing his job very well, as in when he leaves, there are still linens to wash, and sometimes he folds very little to apparently no linens, which we at the front desk have to catch up on for the next day. Some days there are bins and bins of washed linens, but nothing folded, which is literally in his job description. I lost my cool, and for the first and only time, I raised my voice to a coworker. I'm not a manager, so I don't usually get up in people's business, but I was pissed. I asked him, why the F are there no linens being washed and dried and folded, as there are several large bins full of dirty linens just sitting there, and the housekeepers are falling behind because they don't have enough clean linens to stock the rooms. By that time, it was too late, because the housekeepers were finishing up cleaning rooms, and they can't wait around for 1.5 hours, our wash cycle is an hour, for linens to be processed. They just clock out when they're done. He stared at me like for a second and said, "I'm helping new guy with his rooms, the other housekeepers are almost done." I said very clearly, "You are the head housekeeper, you are not assigned to help with training. You told me personally you were doing laundry and you are not. Now we are behind, so you need to get to the laundry room and wash the linens that the housekeepers need. And since they're leaving soon, you need to stay and stock all their cleaned rooms, because I am not doing that." He tried to be chatty and said he was going to talk to the boss. I told him no, go to the laundry room, I will get the boss. I found my GM and told her the situation, and she thankfully went to the laundry room and reiterated what I said. Since he fell behind, he needs to stay longer to finish all the linens and stock all the cleaned rooms. I think she was genuinely surprised, even though I've been telling her as much for weeks. His performance varies, but that day was bad. I'm still mad about it, because what would have happened if I hadn't caught it was people would come to me and say they have no towels, etc. That makes me mad because it makes us look like a crap hotel, which we aren't. We're just short-staffed like a lot of places. And it's me that has to apologize and deliver all those linens to the rooms because the gnome was too busy chatting, helping the housekeepers, instead of doing his assigned tasks. A few times after, he'll come to the desk and try to chat me up, and he'll ask me, "What do you think I should do now? Help the housekeepers with the beds?" I'll just say, "Do what you're assigned," and he'll ask me again what I think. I feel like saying F off and do what you're effing assigned, and stop trying to chat with the staff or guests and waste time. Do your dang job. He tries to chat me up more because he can tell I'm annoyed, and I'm not playing coy. I'm here to work, not F around and chat, especially not with the gnome. I went away for a week for a family trip that was approved months ago, and when I got back, a miracle happened. Mrs. June came back, and the gnome got demoted to a regular housekeeper again. I can't tell you what it felt like to walk into the laundry room and see perfectly folded linens and the washers and dryers chugging away. I almost cried. I hugged Mrs. June and told her I was so happy she's back. The gnome, however, is still the head housekeeper on Mrs. June's days off, but it's only 2 days, so I think we can manage. It sounds to me like the management for this place just isn't effective. The GM, the assistant GM, they should all work a couple of shifts at the time that the gnome works so they can actually see what goes on. In fact, they should probably be in the building for every one of the shifts at least once or twice a month just to get an idea of how things go. Because you really can't effectively manage something unless you've done it yourself. I've said that so many times in these videos, but I really believe it. You can't manage something unless you've done it yourself. Check out all 4 OPs linked in the description down below. I thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.